Welcome to Evolving Spiritually. My name is Kayla Leday-Poole, spiritual intuitive therapist. If this is your first time checking out my channel, hello and welcome. If you all are returning, what's up and welcome back to another intuitive session. If you would like to check out more sessions, you can always head over to patreon.com/evolving into more. Over there, I upload 2 to 3 additional readings per week. If you would like to book a personal session like this or any other kind of reading, you can head over to evolvingintomore.com. Now, let's get into today's session. Hey guys, welcome back to another channeled message. Before we get into things today, I wanted to touch on our last session here on the channel. I challenged you guys at the end of that session to a 7-day creative challenge. It didn't matter what you did, what you're doing, it doesn't matter. I just want you to do you in the best way possible. The challenge was to commit 5 to 10 minutes or more every day for the next 7 days. Until your 7th day where you're creating or putting it all in a video so that I can put everything in a collage and post it here on the channel, because why not? Right? Let's create and let's put it out there. Let's challenge ourselves to complete something, right? So today would technically be day 3 going into the 7-day challenge. If you just heard about it and you want to jump on board, you're more than welcome. This is, again, committing some time every day to your craft or to something new that you want to start and see what you come up with in 7 days. And if it's a product or something that you're physically creating, you can show a little background on your steps or however you want to display what you do, okay? The last thing with that is make sure that when you are recording or making your video or your content, if you guys can shoot it horizontally for me like this so that we can have the full, effect when it is on YouTube. So I'm challenging you. You can still jump in. It's not too late. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into today's session. All right, getting into this, I want to start off with a meditation message. And don't worry, I only got one, okay? So I'm not going to be all up in your tea today. But I did want to specifically get this message out at some point, and oddly enough, it came out today. So the meditative message revolves around disappointment. The message says disappointment is a part of being human. Of course, we wish everything in our lives went according to plan, that we got all we deserved or desired. But that is not the case. We receive bad news, we get fired, we go through breakups, we lose a loved one, the list continues. We get stuck in the past, wishing things were different or trying to distract ourselves, pretending that we don't care. What's needed instead is embracing of this very natural emotion. Disappointment teaches us that we have desires, and when they are not met, we hurt. And it is okay to feel hurt. So, your meditation says close your eyes and bring to mind a moment of recent disappointment. Honor how this disappointment made you feel. And remember that however you feel is okay, right? So this is a heavy message that I like to go over a few times because we need the reminder that it is okay and it is natural and it is understandable to have an emotion that you feel like you shouldn't be having, that you feel bad for having, or that you shouldn't be having, right? I think a lot of people get stuck on the things that really come up and how they make you feel. And it's not about judging yourself for those feelings or those momentary moments where things just feel a little off, right? Process your feeling, feel how you feel. And then you know that you have to make a choice, hopefully a healthier choice, to get out of that situation or to change it in some way or another. Will you realistically be able to change things overnight? No, not always. But being honest with yourself and honest about how you feel is going to help you get completely clear on what needs to be done next. Right? A lot of us, we suppress feelings and we make them out to be something that they may not be, just because we want to put something, a label or a word or an emotion attached to it. But when you really let that pass, you can sit with it and see what is really going on, right? I had a session one time with a new mom, and she was really struggling in the beginning of being a new mother. And I think that that is a natural thing, because a lot of things around like becoming a mother and birth and all of that, post labor and all that, is not discussed, right? We hear about postpartum and things like that, but it's really layers to this. And I think from my own experience and from sessions that I've had, it puts a lot of people in places of feeling like a failure, feeling like they are not able to provide or be, or, step up to what is being asked of them. And during those first few months, you're going to feel like you don't know what you're doing, because you don't. I don't think you can ever be prepared for certain things in life, because every situation is going to be different and unique in some kind of way. And every person is different and unique in their own way. So I'm telling you this because it is okay for you to be in common situations or dealing with general things and not know how to feel. And again, your initial reaction or feeling may be something that makes you feel bad. And specifically with this situation that I'm bringing to the table, this person felt like they didn't want to be a mom. And, right? It sounds like, oh my God, then they should. No, because let's be honest. Let's be for real. That is stepping into a whole new world that requires a whole new responsibility, right? So no, you may not be having a baby, but you're birthing something new, okay? And this is grieving and letting go of what used to be, okay? I've always wanted to be a mother. Thank God that I am, right? But I did not think about the little things in the beginning. Right. And it's things that's common sense, but it's things that you really don't think about in the moments of like life just passing by. Like, I used to love going into 7-Eleven and getting Slurpees. Like, that was my thing back when I lived in Texas. And I remember after I had Kaylee, it was just like the reality check of, dang, I gotta take this car seat out every single time I just want to run in the store and get an icy, get a little Slurpee, And obviously I did it, because I'm not gonna do that. But the moral of the story was, it was just like something so small, but it was a constant reminder of like, yeah, girl, you got an extra responsibility, So this is being in that place. So I understood and resonated in that way. And back to the point I was making is that mother was struggling because everything in her was screaming that she's not a good mother, that she doesn't know how to handle situations, or she can't raise this child, right? And it's like, okay, let that come up and let yourself process that. And then you can figure out what to do with that. Once you come to that understanding, you have to ask yourself, is that true? Do you really feel that you're not capable of doing and being who it is that you have set out to be, or who you are right now in this present moment? Because I'm gonna always remind you that God don't make any mistakes, and everything is exactly how it's supposed to be, and you are exactly where you are supposed to be. And it may be between hell and a hard rock right now, but it is to put the pressure to grow and become what you truly want and desire deep down. Right? So with this disappointment, yes, things are changing and they're not looking the same, and people are changing, and situations are just like completely overwhelming and out of your control. But that's when you have to understand that it's working for you and not against you. And no one said that this road would be easy, right? No. And I know that doesn't make it feel any less like impactful, but just know that this won't last forever. Okay, so we're gonna jump into this message because we're done with that message, and you guys see me looking down. Y'all know I got my notes. So I was getting something around hermit crabs, and it was just weird because I saw like quite a few this week. And the thing that I wanted to point out about the hermit crabs, because it very much relates to this energy that we're going into, you're the hermit crab. Okay. And the hermit crab, in the sense of they change shells, right? They grow into bigger shells because they grow. And so they move out of one shell and go into a bigger one. And that's you. Okay. Now you were growing and you were crawling, you were doing your thing, but you were in this little shell, and people were doubting you and they were underestimating you in this little ass shell. And from that point, you've continued to crawl and you've made it through other shells, and now you're about to hit a big shell that's really going to stand you out of the crowd. Okay, but keep that in mind. And maybe, I don't know, if somebody wants to take the time and look up the symbolization. Is that how you say that? You all know what I mean. Symbolism behind hermit crabs. Okay, jumping into this, I have that you're not who you used to be, and people have very much taken noticed. People are coming to the realization that you are moving to the beat of your own drum. Okay. Now, why they didn't know that and understand that and see that before, I don't know. But everything happens when it should, as it should. And so them seeing that now must be for a reason. And it's simply just because everybody has gone through their own journey and their own process at their own time. And now is your time to shine. And people are really seeing this within you and your life and reality lately. Okay? It's definitely a strong realization of, again, you marching to the beat of your own drum. Ain't nobody over here playing your drum. You over here playing your own drum. You done made up your own beats, your own flow, your own rhythm, your own notes. I don't know. Okay? But everybody been trying to like get down and go and flow with you, and they can't figure it out. They can't pick it up. See, the thing that I love about dance is that you can choose like what counts you want to start on, or if you want it to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, or 1, 2. I don't know. You can choose the tempo based off of whatever you choose to pick out of that song. Sometimes I will dance based off of the words and the lyrics, right? Sometimes I will dance based off of a beat in the background or an instrument, right? It changes the tempo and the flow. And sometimes people will look at it and they'll be like, is she even dancing to the music? You got to figure out what part of the music I'm dancing to, because once you do catch it, you'll see that I'm over here flowing to an ad-lib, sub-lib. I don't know what it is, but you know what I mean? The little backgrounds. Okay. Anyways, that's you. You have found your flow, and you have your own beat, and you have your own way of expression and expressing yourself that just naturally lights up the room. There is, again, this essence to you that people just can't quite grasp and understand. Now, I pointed my finger at you because I posted a Patreon reading today, and it was about understanding your power. And within that session, we were talking about being in this place. Let me turn and look at it actually, because I just went blank. Being in this place where you are really seeing and understanding yourself. There's a lot of confusion around the past. There's a lot of confusion around certain situations and things that are playing out right now. Okay. The math may not be mathing. And what's missing out of that equation is your ability to see yourself. See, you're not able to understand how these people could be the way that they have been, the way that they are, have done the things that they have done to you, are in the situations that they're dealing with right now. And again, it's due to some sort of inability to fully see yourself. And no, this is not being in the ego. This is not saying, oh, because of this and that. It's truly growth reflecting off of you. And when you are in the presence of people and things, you are very much noticed and appreciate it, whether people communicate that to you or not. And it is something that you just so naturally have about yourself, the way that you carry yourself, the confidence. It's that foundation, okay? It's that faith. It's that solid foundation that you've built your life around. It's the God in you, okay? That's what they're seeing. And again, I'm not here to judge anybody's spirituality or connection to God, but I definitely know that there are people that go throughout their days on this world, in this life, not even taking a moment to communicate to God, to say thank you, to just be honest and vulnerable. Like, you can't even do that with God, then how are you think you about to do it in the world? Some people only think and consider God when good things come in, when things are looking good. And it's so crazy because my wife and I were having this discussion maybe like a week or two ago. And it's just ironic how people come out of very hard situations or get saved out of difficult things and still never think to give credit to God. Like, a lot of people would literally sit here and like say it was luck or they got themselves out of that situation. Like, yes, I got myself out of an unhealthy, toxic situation, marriage, home life. But it was literally by the grace of God. It was the strength of God within me that got me through that. It was God laying it on my heart that I deserved more and I deserved better, that led me to make that choice that I should leave and never look back. And that's what I'm saying. People don't want to give God credit for things if God didn't physically come down and do something way out of the blue. No, God could have shown you something that changed your mind in the last minute, that caused you to go left instead of right. But again, some people are looking for that to be something so dramatic. I used to tell you guys at the beginning of this channel, and it's so crazy because I've been here since 2016, but I used to be heavily religious in the church. And I used to wonder why God wasn't talking to me, because I was literally waiting on a man's voice in my ear to be like, telling me what to do. And I remember asking someone, like, why isn't God talking to me? I feel like everybody's saying that, God's telling them this and God's telling them that. And like, God ain't saying nothing in my ear. And I remember, and it's so ironic because the person that told me this is like, going through their own journey. I'm going to put it there, but complete opposite of me. But they told me that, like, no, it's not. God is not going to, like, whisper in your ear and talk to you in some weird voice. God is talking through you in that voice inside your head. And I know this is so cliche to say right now because I feel like on TikTok there's this whole talk about, like, trying to connect with the voice inside your head. And some people are just like, I don't have that internal intellect thing. Well, I've always had it, okay? And again, I'm pretty sure you resonate with that as well. But that's your intuition. That is your higher self. That is your connection to God. And it is in those moments when you turn away from yourself, when you turn away from those feelings And that knowing that even if it doesn't make sense right then, it's still that gut feeling. Now, I did see something today right before this, and I skipped by it because it wasn't even my intention to like be looking at social media. But I did click on an app today, and the first video that came up said something around like waiting to process your response and your answers. And maybe I think it's my girl Chantel, okay? But it was a message around not being so quick to respond, right? We've been talking about not reacting, and I think we pretty much got that down, okay? All right. But responding, taking your time with that, you don't have to rush it. People can wait. They will make you wait, okay? And you would wait out of respect, right? So you deserve that in return. So what I want to say with that is like, take your time responding to people if you have a response at all. Because sometimes in the moment we will respond and give a yes or give into something that we may really need to go home and process. And for people like me, okay, I'm not used to being out with people on large gatherings. Those things are not. I'm a homebody. Okay, me and my wife, we like to be home. We like to do our thing. Okay, and in the moment, if somebody were to ask us out, I think we would just be like, oh yeah, And then we come home, we'd be like, why did we do that? Like, why we do that? We already know that we're not gonna go, right? And some people, I'm gonna laugh at this because, again, we're in Mexico, and some people here in this community have taken like legit offense to us like wanting to keep to ourselves. Now we think we're better than anybody, and it's just like, no, we got each other, we're good. Like, we're not social people. Even when we were not with each other, we was not hanging around people like that, And again, it's a like-mindedness. It's wanting to be around people who understand what we're doing. And no, it's not like our lifestyle, and we're not anything out of the ordinary. Yes, we're two women, but very traditional in the sense of relationships and things like that, right? But we're not traditional when it comes to our career and the way that we move in life, move around, and how active we are creatively and physically, right? And so people down here are not reflecting those things. And so when we're at the gym every day, or we're walking, or we're choosing to do ceramics, or I don't know, go to the basketball court or learn Spanish, it's just like, oh, like y'all not inviting people, and y'all not, and it's just like, but you don't do that, right? So the point that I'm making with that, because I slightly vented, but it's okay, was to tell you that you can naturally be doing what you're doing and end up being a problem. Like, we've literally been the topic of conversation for, I don't know now, probably over a year, because we have literally went into our hermit mode and have been working on ourselves. And again, that's going to always be an issue with people who just want to be in your business. Because again, like, these people they're not trying to do anything else. They just want to see what's going on, what we're doing, and it's just like, no, we don't need that. You don't need that. You don't need other people's approval. You don't need other people up in your mix, right? If you are in a place of really getting yourself where you need to be, again, some people are not going to like that. And that's going to show up, and that's going to show out in different kind of ways, but it's choosing you. It's choosing you. And that's it. We choose to stay here and keep to ourselves because we tried to be in the mix and we tried to mingle, and it just was not it. Okay, it's like high school drama all with grown ass people, and it's just, again, it's a no. And then we're supposed to feel bad for not wanting to participate in that. Like, no, get real. Again, if you had something that you were doing in your life and things were occupied, people would have no problem with you doing what you need to do to better yourself. Right? That's just like, it's common sense. So again, it's disappointing that people would sit here and be mad that we are like pouring into ourselves, but it's also understandable when you're dealing with people who don't know nothing about that. And that's just like on keeping it real. But somebody will say it's ugly, and it's okay. Because if you think the truth sucks, hurts, and is ugly, then you're right. And I'm never going to be cute to you. So you just got to stand in that truth, right? Again, a heavy message we've been talking about on Patreon, standing in the truth of who you are. Everybody does not like me, and you're probably not going to like me if you're fake and phony and putting on, whether you know it or not. And I'm okay with that. Because again, like, my words is rooted in truth and in honesty to help people grow, not to sit here and cater to nobody's feelings to keep you stuck, you know? So again, you're going to trigger people in ways, but people who really make changes and growth, they're going to come back and realize, again, the role that you played in their life. And I know it because I've had it in my personal life, but I've had it here on this channel. I literally had somebody say last week that they didn't watch me a few years ago because I triggered them. Like, I was not their cup of tea. And now they literally sit through my sessions and have grown so much. And it is understandable. And that's why I stand so confidently in what I do. Because again, people who are triggered by me and don't like me for whatever reason, it is reflecting them. If it's something negative that you see in me, it's something negative that you feel about yourself. And when you're able to process that and understand that, again, it becomes understandable. It doesn't mean you have to agree with me. It doesn't mean you have to do what I do. It's just finding understanding, right? So getting back into this message, you may have a trip down memory lane is what I'm getting in real life. So yes, it could be mentally, but I feel like you're physically getting ready to go back to places and spaces that you were once in before. And I don't feel like you're going to stay. I feel like you're temporarily like passing through, going through, driving through. I don't really understand what it is, but it's not stationary energy. You're not being stuck anywhere where you've been. You're just like going through. It's a pass through, but you're going back down a trip down memory lane. Back down memory lane. Is that it? I don't know if that's a song, but I think so. Okay. You will realize that once you're there, how much you have truly grown. How much you've truly grown. And you have lost a lot of things and people along this journey, but you have to know that it has not gone unnoticed. Okay? God is not sitting up here playing you and about to cheat you at the end of this, okay? People and the devil do that. But in this case, you may be feeling and waiting and wondering like, well, why has nothing happened yet? And other people around you may have been wondering the same. But when it comes and when it happens, if it hasn't happened and if it's not happening right now in this moment, just know that it will be perfectly timed and in front of who it needs to be. That's what you have to start getting more relaxed and comfortable in understanding and knowing. Everything is within divine timing. And when you can really secure your understanding around that, you're going to get rid of a lot of worry and anxiety. Okay. So, the validation that you've been needing, I don't know in what kind of way you've been needing validation, but it's going to come in a softer way than you would imagine. Now, let me finish this because let me just get past this paragraph. Okay. It's a peaceful moving on. I have clarity and a clear mind is finding its way to you. So what I want to point out with that, because again, through my sessions this week and through just observing energy, things are definitely playing out with people of our past, people of our present, all of that jazz, right? And we've been getting the message heavily that things will not look in the ways that we thought or were expecting. And boy, oh boy, is that the truth. And I think that this is where it ties into the emotional disappointment and sadness and the emotions that's going to come up around things. And again, it is okay to feel it. It is okay to feel it, but you have to, again, find a balance in an understanding of things. So, I mean, to be honest and transparent with you guys right now, my grandmother passed on the 19th of July. And I was very, very close with my grandmother, and obviously have not been able to be close in the last 5 to 6 years because of everything that's been going on, right? And I really felt bad for not being able to go to her celebration of life initially. And I felt like the more that I prayed on it and really just balanced myself within the energy, I feel like I not only got confirmation from her, but obviously God, that I'm right where I need to be. And if I was supposed to be there, God would have made a way, and it would have been, a clear path and a clear opportunity to do so. And I'm telling you, it was not even an option, not even something I could even think of trying to figure out, because it's a no. It was a no financially. And it could be because, people playing with money. But it was a no financially. It was also a no just physically, because these people, I don't know them anymore. I don't trust them whatsoever at all. And it's taken into consideration, again, everything that we have been hearing in our sessions. And you're not going to put yourself back in places and spaces that don't feel safe. I'm not. I've had 5 years of proof of what that is, what it entails, what it involves. And even if it is hurting and healing right now in this moment, it has a lot more work to do before it could ever be balanced enough for me to put myself back in that situation. And again, I'm telling you guys this because it was disappointment that I sat with for days. And I felt like shit. Only to come to an understanding that, no, what matters is the role that you played in people's life when they were alive and around. And again, those people know that and they understand that. Now, regardless of what anybody else feels and has to say, because people are very just being ugly and hateful energetically right now during this time, they're going to say what they're going to say, right? But you got to find peace and balance at the end of the day for you. Okay. And again, if anyone feels like you should be putting yourself and your life in danger or in, I don't know, a lion's den to satisfy everyone else and everything else, that's not realistic, not anymore. Right? So this is getting honest about how you feel. Initially, I felt guilty, damn, I should be there. But then I also know that my grandmother wouldn't have wanted me there either. And that's what I'm saying. People who really know you and understand you, they got you. And you got to know that at the end of the day too, even if distance and separation gets in the middle of that. It's an understanding on both ends. And again, that initial feeling put me in a place of feeling disappointed and sad. And I had to process that, and I had to go through layers of asking myself questions to get to a balanced place. And like I said, there's people probably will come on this video and be hateful and ugly and say how wrong and how disrespectful I am. And again, I'm still standing my ground on what I stand on, because I can also say in return that not one of those people and things have genuinely checked in on me, my child, or my wife in the last 5 years to even say, you okay? Y'all good? I'm hearing things about you. You ain't got to tell me what you hearing, because I'm pretty sure it was a lie already. But again, no one was worried about it then, but everybody's worried about it when everything hits the fan. No. You're going to be hit with pressures in life, and you have to make a choice for yourself. Because I would have went to acknowledge my grandmother And by the end of that acknowledgement, it would have ended with a bunch of family drama and questions and things that y'all done already figured out. What's been said has been said. What has been done has been done. I'm not going back. You don't need to go back and clear up anything with anyone, because everything will speak for itself. So, when you get into this place, this is really understanding that you just are not who you used to be. And even who you used to be was not even truly you, because it was things placed on you that made you that way. And for me, what I'm starting to realize is the places and spaces that I was in before, I really did at some point believe that like that's where I was supposed to be. And I'm looking back and not even recognizing myself, even in moments of real-time memories, of videos, of vlogs, of photos, and just feeling so disconnected. With you having this understanding, with you realizing that, damn, things have really changed. You have really changed. You have really come into yourself. You're going to, again, make peace with so much of what you've been fighting inside. You are not the old you, and you don't have to reflect that whatsoever. And if people don't recognize you anymore, even better. See, when I came into creating this channel and my spirituality, again, this was back in 2016. And people that knew me prior to that knew Kayla was in church about 3 days out of the week. I was in praise dance, I was in choir, I was an usher, Sister Leday. Everybody knew me. Everybody knew that's what I was deeply rooted in and stood for. And I've had my ups and downs in the church, and we don't have to go all through that, but basically I got pregnant before I got married, and they kicked me on out. I was told to step down out of everything that I was leading, and I left. And I didn't leave the church and left God. I definitely kept that foundation because it's always been solid. And because of that solidness within myself and within God, I realized a lot of things within that religion and within church was mind control. I'm not here to tussle with nobody. You feel how you feel. Some people need it. I think church is a great tool for the people who don't have an understanding or foundation of God themselves and need that point of view. But some people don't. And I'm telling you that because that was a transition. When I left the church and came into spirituality, I didn't go into no cult. I didn't start following any sort of like tradition or a certain, and again, I'm not putting any of that down because I don't know. I can't talk about what I don't know about, right? I just know for me, I never went into any particular like type of spiritual community. I still don't claim any specific spiritual, like, I don't know. I don't go to retreats. I'm not that. Like, I literally, I pray, talk to God, I get my messages, and I learn what I can. I just don't know anything about it to speak on it. And I'm just personally not interested in it. So I'm telling you that because it put me in a very in-between phase where I was still half recognizable to people and things that knew me when I was in the church. And I was half recognizable to people who were in the spiritual community that weren't so heavily like invested in a certain like group, or I don't know if to call it like, I don't know, a category. I don't know, y'all. That's just like how much I didn't get that deeply into it because I don't need to. Right? We are all gifted in our own unique ways, and you have to find your own connection and understanding of God. And I'm telling you this because the person that I became in the last 5 to 6 years started off with the foundation that was built on what was old, right? I tore down some things and got rid of some things, but it was still like I built a new house and put old furniture in it. Y'all know I love my analogies, right? So back then in 2016, yes, I completely knocked down the house that I had built on that foundation, and I built a new home, but then I put the same old shit in it. Okay, so yeah, it looked different. There was something different about it, but when you went in, it was still the same old couch. Kayla still got that same old painting on her wall, still same routine. Things are still looking the same, which left me feeling the same. Instead of realizing, just like you, okay, I'm telling you this to get this message through. You, just like I, built a new home on a foundation that was more solid than before. And within this new home, we put old furniture in it. And that old furniture and those old things have energy and things that just need to no longer be there. And you may be like, Kayla, well, I understand what you mean, but right now I'm sitting in this house and money a little funny, and I can't afford to furnish this whole house. And that's where God is like, okay, you still, are you not getting it? Are you not understanding that I gave you this new house? And it was your inability to really trust and have faith, because again, what we went through in the past is not beating you up for that, because we're all there. We all getting this message right now. We was all sitting up in our new house on our old furniture, just being humble and grateful of like, well, thank God we got this. And that is, God is very grateful that you've been grateful. But within that gratefulness has also been doubt and underestimation that like, I would love to get some new stuff in here, but just what I got and what I'm working with is just not going to allow that right now. And so you've been trying to figure out a plan of how to get your money up to get your whole house furnished, newly furnished. Hopefully y'all can follow my analogy, right? All right, so we sitting here and we working every day, and we're still just like, dang, I ain't got enough, because every time I get a little bit, it got to go here and it got to go there. And then we like, God, like, what's going on? Like, I'm doing what you told me to do. I'm listening. I'm following through. I'm losing people and things around me, but like I'm down. And God's just like, all right, hold on one more minute. You didn't listen this far, so just hold on, because again, you're thinking that you gotta work harder instead of smarter. And I just want you to sit on that old couch for a second and just really see how far you've come and what you have created for yourself. And then I want you to envision what you see next. Because it's easy for us to say like, oh, we need new furniture. We need to furnish the house because all of this stuff is old. Do you even know what you want? I can say, yeah, I want a new couch, but I don't know what kind of new couch I want. And God just wants you to get a little more clear on what you want and what you're asking for. Because again, you're kind of trying to leave it a little too open-ended. All right, God is sitting here saying, yeah, things may come in a way that you don't know, look, or expect it to be. But God not saying that you're not going to get it. Okay? So, you sitting here waiting on money to buy new furniture. You don't even know what you want. You don't even know how much money you need. Right? That makes me think of a TikTok I sent to Janae like 3 weeks ago, and I thought the girl was talking on the spiritual, like having faith tip, but she was talking on the financial, like real financial tip. And I don't remember the end because I wasn't trying to hear that, because I thought it was like having faith. But in the beginning, she was talking about she made a list of the kind of life she wanted, like what that looked like. The rent or mortgage, the car payment. She did the whole 9. She figured it out. Like, this is the kind of life I want to be living every day. I want this gym membership. I want this. I want that. And she totaled it up. Okay. And homegirl must just really like the high class living, which I don't blame you, because, it steps to it. When you start getting nice things, you find out it's a little nicer. But the point of what I'm saying is, she totaled all that up, and she realized, like, That's it. Like, I make that now. Like, I could be living that life right now if I just manage my money a little different. Okay. So, yes, that could be your situation if you ain't got money problems. Okay. But in terms of the analogy, again, that's like what's going on right now. God's just wanting you to figure out what you want, what that looks like. And if you're worried about money, then get down to some numbers and figure that out, because you need to get more specific and direct about what it is that you want, so that when you get these things, you know where it's going. You remember the talk that we had last year around the end of the year, when it was like you could be sitting here and praying that God gives you $1 million, and then you can get that $1 million tomorrow and then probably blow it because you have not really been planning on how you're going to like invest that, flip that, rearrange that, and make more from that. And don't act like it don't happen, because it do. People win the lottery and they go blow it on money, thinking that they just got plenty of money, and then the money be gone. I know that everybody doesn't have bad money habits in management, but some people like I and some of you did not grow up with the knowledge of financial management and all of that. Okay? And if you're waiting on somebody to walk in your life and just do it for you, I'm telling you, it's not going to happen unless somebody's going to email me. I don't know. I don't trust a lot of people. Anyways, the point is to learn stuff yourself. Will you always have to do it yourself? No. But you do need to know about what's going on with what you got going on. Right? That's what I'm saying. You just because you will have enough money to hire an accountant, you still want to know what that accountant is doing and how they're managing your money, or you're going to get bamboozled. You see, it's layers to this. People think it's simple. You think, oh, all I need is $500,000, and then what, you going to go blow it on a house? And again, that's not a bad investment, but do you know how to manage that house? Do you know how to, invest in other ways to make more from that? Like, have you really thought about it? Do you want to go buy a turnkey, or do you want to remodel? Do you want to buy an empty lot and build? Or, I don't know. You got options in everything that you want to do, but you got to know what you want to do, because you've been asking, you've been praying, and it's been stacking up. Like I said, it ain't went unnoticed. What you've been doing ain't went unnoticed. It's been, God been tally marking and calculating and adding on up, and you about to get a good old payout. You're about to get a good payout. And I don't know, now child support is coming in my head. But it's because it's showing me a TikTok I seen weeks ago. I think the girl was saying her payments were, I don't know if she chose to get them held, like kept until the year ended, or something happened to where they didn't pay her for a whole year. And by the end of that year, she had like $10,000 in child support, because I don't know. But basically the moral of the story was like, God be protecting you in moments when things are not coming to you. Okay, and I've had that happen to myself, not with child support, sadly, but just in life, right? I got in a wreck a whole year prior to the time when the money actually came in, and it was a moment that I really needed it, because I was trying to not live from Airbnb to Airbnb anymore and run from life. I was trying to settle in Colorado, and I kid you not, the day I said, I'm not stressing no more, and we're not staying in an Airbnb anymore, and I'm gonna give this speech every time, because that is what it changed my life around. Kayla and I were traveling around, drove from LA to Philadelphia to Colorado to San Diego. We did all of that, just me and her in a car. Took us days. Thank God we were kept and saved. And like, again, nothing happened. We were good the whole time. Went broke a few times, but never broke to not have what we needed. And I'm telling you this because it was 3 months of back and forth of like, God, what? What? I'm lost. I ain't never been outside of Texas. Don't know anything without the direction of my parents. And I have a 3-year-old. And we're running because that was the only thing we could do to save our lives. Right? And so when we got into Colorado, I got to Colorado by realizing I wanted to be in the mountains. I used to live in Utah, and I love the mountains. And couldn't go back to Utah because it was just toxic and unhealthy there all around. So I went to Colorado. And within this story was me getting fed up one day and just being like, God, I'm tired of being unstable. I'm tired of this. And I knew in order to change my reality, I had to change my mind. And I was like, I'm tired of living on survival mode. I'm tired of being scared. I'm tired of not having enough. And I feel like my intuition was like, okay, well, then what are you going to do about it? And I was like, I'm going to make this shit happen. Okay. I got up that day. I did my hair. I think I dyed my hair. And I went and looked at apartments. I didn't have no money in my bank account. I think I had just spent it all on the Airbnb. And that Airbnb made me change my mind because it was like in $1 million home in the middle of the mountains. And it was beautiful. It was like a mother-in-law suite. Again, thank God, God kept me and nobody was weird and did anything with us. But it was the views. And I was like, you know what? Like, we deserve this, you know? And so I went and looked at apartments. And I had no money, and I came across an apartment, and I was like, wow, this is it. This is the apartment, and I'm going to get it. And I filled out the paperwork and all of that, and they were like, yeah, you're approved. You know, you can move in. I think it was like May 15th of 2018, something like that. I don't know. And the day I got approved, and they told me my move-in date, I got a call from the lawyers that I was working with in my car accident from my birthday of the year before. And they were like, hey, you know, your check is in. If you want to come pick it up, you know, you're more than welcome. And I'm just like, heck yeah, I don't care if I have to drive from Colorado to Dallas, I'm going. And I did. Me and Kaylee, we got in that car. I don't remember how long the drive is from Colorado to Texas, but it didn't matter. We was driving 40 plus hours at that point. So I got in there and we got that check, okay, came back the next day, and it was in that moment when I picked up the check, the lady at the desk was like, girl, God is keeping you if you've been on that road with just you and that baby like that. And it was my moment to really stop and say, you know what, you're right, because we stayed in hotels at some point in Kansas. It was creepy, okay? I don't know, they could have, again, trafficking and all this stuff, it just makes things a lot more humble. But getting back to the story, is that happened within like 2 or 3 days. Like, I had nothing to having thousands to be able to pay rent, to furnish the house, to like do what I needed to do. And then once I got in there and found my balance and start creating, that was my peak. I was making the most money I've ever made in my life then. Okay, you have to change your reality. Now, y'all probably like, what happened? What happened was I gave back into old mindsets. Okay, it doesn't matter if people was over here doing hoodoo, voodoo, voodoo, and anything else in a negative way to try to stop or block me. It was because I was allowing it to block me with my thoughts, with my feelings, with my reactions, with my choices. Okay, that's what we have to take responsibility for. So yes, somebody could have been messing with my finances. They could be doing it now. But again, my limiting beliefs and thoughts also make that a reality too. You got to understand how this works. People think, again, it's all some woo-woo, magical, crazy things. People use you against yourself. Please listen to me. People are using you against yourself. They want you to be the detriment of yourself. So they play with your mind and your emotions for you to turn on you and be the end of you. I learned that very early on. But for some reason, I had to keep really understanding the layers underneath that. Somebody could easily just wish gluttony on you, wish that you overate every single day. And again, if you don't ever have any sort of control over like your food and your intake, if you are not conscious enough to make a choice that like, this is excessive, this is over too much. If you keep eating, you're giving into that energy, that entity. That's what I'm saying. People not gonna come here and stuff your face every day to make you unhealthy. No, they're gonna manipulate your energy and your mind and your emotions for you to go towards whatever that vice or whatever it is that could be your downfall. And like I said, if it's not drugs and alcohol, for a lot of people, it's food. What do y'all think the people on My 600-Pound Life, like, if y'all ever watch that show, a lot of them people is like under all kind of curses and spells. I'm crazy till I'm correct. But that's how this works. People want you to turn on yourself. People want you to give up on yourself. People want you to not be confident in yourself. And you really just got to take the time to process and be able to tell the difference between what's real and what's not. Okay? And like I said, like, what's real can't ever be twisted and turned into anything else. Somebody came on my channel last week and was like, oh, you stole my messages. That's why you ain't have nothing to say. This is stealing messages. And if you wanted to, whoever you are, since you can't write on your real account, why not do something live? Like, I ain't got nothing to hide. I do this shit in real life. This is who I am, authentically. And I could do it anytime, any moment, like it's nothing. You know? And that's always going to be the confidence that I stand in, because everything that I show up as is authentic. I ain't got no reason to steal. Are people going to have similar messages? Yes. But in their delivery, in their expression is the uniqueness. If anybody out here speaking like me, have my lingo or my vernacular, y'all know what I'm trying to say. You know where it's coming from. Now, can I own certain words? No, but places and spaces and things and all of that, you know how I flow, right? Again, that's what makes the difference, you being yourself. And that's what you got to challenge people on, in a sense, right? It comes down to being real. It's not knocking anyone else. It's just saying that people are who they are, and you should not try to tear people down for that. Right? And that stands in any sort of situation. People are always going to challenge you. Again, like, you're not the only person out here doing what you want to do. But doing it in your way is always what's going to keep longevity and prosperity around it. Right? So, getting back into this to finish off, you have an energy that is in regret over a decision that was made when it comes to you. Okay? And this person compares everything and everyone to you in their reality, even like right now in this moment. Something around family ties has to do with this person. I don't know if they're your family or they are connected to their family or someone else's family and they all stuck and tied up, but it's something to do with family ties here. This person is stuck and cannot choose you now. They got themselves in a situation, and it doesn't matter if everything in their reality is reflecting you. They don't have that access to you. They don't have that permission anymore, because they made a really big choice that they knew what came with it. They knew that if they chose that, they were not choosing you. But they didn't think that they would end up regretting it. This person likes to play with temptation, which is why you are not allowed, and they're not allowed in your energy. Okay? Even if you desire to hear from this person or are longing or feel them, God's not going to let that happen, because they mean you no well. They have very egotistical temptations of wanting to feed and fulfill themselves in some way to go off, and it's like energy harvesting. All right, so remember things and people who appreciate you for who you are, not who they want you to be. Okay? Many people attempt to put themselves in your shoes, thinking you too are one of the same, and they couldn't be any more wrong. Right? And that's what I was saying with what I just mentioned about that comment on my channel. Like, it's not to say that readings won't have similarities in it. But to ever say that I'm sitting up here still in anybody's flow and like, you're out your mind. We have like 5-6 years of proof of who I am, been, and always will be. Right? But I want to make a point with that, because whoever it is, like I said, they're trolling because they're not showing up as themselves. Secondly, people are getting very frustrated with not only me, but you. This is a collective energy. I'm just showing y'all how it pans out in reality. What's really upsetting people is trying to figure out how I do what I do now since I'm not using cards. Truth be told, I never needed cards in the beginning. It just gave me that extra sense of security to give people more confirmation on what I was saying. But I'm at a point in life right now, I don't need to spoon feed people. It's something that you feel. You either recognize it or you don't. I'm either your cup of tea or I'm not. You either get it or you're confused. Real recognize real. And the people that I am meant to be speaking to at this point in my life understand me without any sort of confusion around it. What's understood doesn't need to be explained, right? And I'm telling you guys this too because there's nothing that you need to do in order to prove yourself to other people unless they really want a challenge. And that's what I'm saying. I'm more than willing on any day, at any time, to be real and live in real time and do what I do. Again, this is nothing. This is who I am. It's my purpose, my passion, you know? And it just is what it is. So I feel like that's with artists too, right? I'm not going to say names here because people get all like winded up about certain artists, but I believe that there's an artist who is like praised and known worldwide who vocally cannot even compete with another artist who's vocally strong. One's a better performer, but vocally they wouldn't be able to stand someone who sings, okay? Like you can sing, right? And it's cute and it's just like, oh, we feel it. It's, you know, it's light. But people who be singing, okay, it's a difference. And again, it's not to knock the other person. It's just to give props where it's due. And that's what I'm trying to say even with these readings. Like, yes, things can be similar, but what I'm touching on will hit people in a different way than another reader. There are people who read on karmic energy. There's people who read on low vibrational energy. There's people who read on all different kind of energies. And you just got to figure out what they're picking up on. Again, I'm not sitting here like predicting the future or telling you anything about the future. I'm bringing up things that are playing with your mind and your emotions that are blocking you. If y'all don't realize that, I help people heal from trauma and blockages, right? So if you're looking for like a fortune or like you want to know like what's happening in the future, I'm not that person for that. Okay? And there's a lesson to be said within that. Everybody has their role. Everybody has a part to play within life. And you got to see where people fit, including yourself. So, people who are for you will be for you. And again, there's a lot of people who see you and they see themselves in you and they see similarities and they get it confused and think that they know you and they have you figured out. And I'm going to say it for the rest of y'all. You don't. You never will, because everybody is different and individual. That's why they're an individual. There may be similarities, but it's not going to be the same. That's why when people like in relationships and then you see them move on and it's just like, dang, that person looked just like they last person, because they thought that they was going to go out there and just find another one. But I'm pretty sure the personalities and all of that is real different, you know? So it's needing to really understand that about people. And once you do, you will be a lot less disappointed when you realize that there's nobody in this world like you. Nobody has a heart like you. Nobody has a mind like you. Nobody has feelings like you. Yes, we are all in this place right now and we are resonating and you're able to understand where I'm coming from. But it doesn't mean that you would react, respond, or even say the things that I would. And that's fine. If I'm the confident, aggressive voice in your head that you would never speak out loud, but I do for you, then fine. That's what I am. Right? Because again, everybody plays their role. It's not telling you need to be like me and be straight up and tell people in the ways that I do, because that may not be fitting for you, right? Like my wife has the complete opposite energy. She has a very softer approach to her. So her coming off like me and just being real and keeping it straight would be like, that's weird. No, Janae is Janae. And she has her own approach. And yes, she will tell you off, but would it be like me? No. So your best thing to do is go to her first, because once you disrespect her, then you get in me and gloves is off at that point. Right? You got to know how it goes and how it flows and where you fit. I know that I should not be the first line of defense because I hit hard. Okay? So I'm going to give you a little softer, approach first, but then you want to get nasty, then I'm stepping in. Okay? Because I will never get low and nasty. Oh no, I get high and I tell you about yourself, and people consider that being nasty, and it's not. I'm just going to lay it out and tell you the truth. And believe me, that really pisses people off more than like calling somebody out their name or throwing something in their face that's just like, that would trigger them. No, just tell people the truth. It will send them running like no other. So this is realizing that some people tend to put you in a box and you have outgrown it every single time, like that hermit crab. They thought you was going to stay in that little shell and you were like, I'm moving on and I'm finding bigger, better things. And they're just like, who are you to think that you deserve bigger and better things? Me. Watch me. And now they're watching you, about to have this big ass shell, and they're just like, when did that happen? You are one of a kind and You are one of a kind and it's okay if the world needs to adjust to that. That's what I put. Y'all know I can't see my own handwriting. But the world is going to need time to adjust to that. So everybody ain't going to like it. Everybody ain't going to love it. But you keep staying consistent in it and it will be something. Okay? If you need proof, I took all of my videos off for like the last 4 to 5 years up until I started my intuitive sessions, because we're done with that. Okay? But my point is, I started intuitive sessions at the end of 2021. I don't know what month, but I think it was before we moved to Mexico. And at that point, people was just like, what is an intuitive session? Keywords, trigger statements. What are you doing, Kayla? Right? It definitely was like, it was an adjustment. I lost thousands of followers. And again, had ugly comments in the beginning because it was just like something that people were not familiar with and not anything that they had seen in the spiritual community at that time. And yeah, it was very slow in coming. And I think I was barely getting 1,000 views on that. And I still did it every single week. And I would say, I don't know, within the next 4 to 5 months after that, one of those videos hit again and I was back up on it. And I'm pointing this out because the videos that I had prior to starting my intuitive sessions, I had large views on, because again, they were like twin flame and love readings and things that I was dealing with when I wasn't as healed. But at this point, I had gotten to a place where, again, I was committed to standing on what I wanted to do and how I wanted to show up. And God tested me for a little bit to see if I was really going to stand in that, no matter how it looked, no matter what I got back from it. And I did. And again, this is how we ended up here right now. And I'm changing things and have changed things within the last 2 months of not reading with cards anymore and letting that go. And again, some people don't like it. They don't understand it. They feel lost. They feel like they're not flowing with me. And I'm okay with letting that go as well, because everyone's not going to be able to go along. And that doesn't mean it's like a long-term thing. That could just be temporarily until the energy balances back out. But you have to know that with moving into new things, into new stages in life, there are going to be a lot of people and things that go along with that. And you have to be willing to stand in that no matter what. Because again, it's going to take time for people to adjust to it. People weren't filling them keywords and them trigger statements in 2021, but 2022, people love them trigger statements, you know? And now they're gone. You know, they had their season. They may come back. I don't know when, if they do. But right now, no, we're flowing in a different way. I'm dealing with a group and an energy of people who don't need to be spoon-fed everything. We can naturally sit, have a conversation, and flow through this energy. And really have a real conversation that is understandable. It's not surface level no more. So you will have all that you need when you remain grounded in the foundation built off of your faith. Okay? That's it. That's it. You stand in your truth. You stand in what you represent and what you are here for, and let God do everything else. Seriously. It is your mind. Free your mind from feeling like you have to stay stuck in these small places that you have outgrown. Not feeling ashamed of that. Like people want you to be ashamed of growing. No, y'all should be ashamed of staying stuck in the same. The hell? I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it because people are gaslighting us and turning things around as if we are not allowed to like have our moments of feeling good about ourselves and the work that we have done. I am absolutely thrilled and ecstatic of my growth and my success thus far. And yes, I'm going to celebrate that and be happy about that and smile every single day about it and not care if you are having a hard day because you're stuck. Because, again, I don't have to. That's not my responsibility. We've equally had choices that put us in situations or don't. It's not to say that people don't go through hard times. I've been through my hell. I got out of my hell. I didn't make excuses for it. I didn't play victim. I did what I needed to do. And now I'm out of it, and I'm going to jump up and down and say hoorah, hooray, and be happy. And just because, again, somebody is now going through their hell doesn't mean that it has to rain on my sunny day parade. And I'm sick of us feeling like our days have to be clouded and rainy because someone else's is. And I'm saying that as a person that's on the other side of that, because I used to be the person with the rain clouds, the thunderstorms, and the lightning walking around, putting it on everyone else, and never understood that, like, I like my attitude or what I'm doing or how I'm feeling, like I could be ruining someone else's day because of that. No, people don't take time to consider that. And I'm saying that because I used to be that person, but I'm considerate of that now. My wife and daughter don't need to have a bad day just because I'm having a bad day. You know, they don't deserve to have to sit in my like negative Nancy parade if they're like having a good day, right? And that's the same for you. I've learned that and I've understood that, and I've made choices to not make my problems other people's problems. Not make my burdens other people's burdens. And if I'm out here operating in that energy and I'm not making myself your problem or anything like that, then don't come make yourself mine. Because I will tell you no. And again, you can say that like Kayla's this and Kayla's that and she's all fed up. And no, Kayla spent almost 26 years of her life not even knowing that I had a day to myself, that I deserved anything, a breath, a thought, a moment, a choice for me. And now that I've been free for the last 5 years, oh my God, like it's World War III in my reality. And at this point, I didn't try to fight it, and I didn't try to throw the white flag and surrender and let go, and people still just want to fight because it's growth. It's going. You're still moving forward. And at this point, if that's what you mad, then you're just going to be mad. Then sit your ass right where you're at, be stuck and be mad. And just watch me keep going and growing and glowing, because I'm not choosing to not grow based off of what other people and things have done to me anymore. Am I sitting up here and saying that people have not done you wrong, and you haven't been cheated in life, and you haven't failed in life, and you haven't experienced disappointment? No, I'm saying that it doesn't stop there. It doesn't end there unless you choose to end it there. And don't be mad at me or people like me who choose to get up off of our asses and try again and succeed. Period. Done. I'm done. I'm done, because now I'm just getting worked up. Because it's just energy now. Trying to understand things that just it don't make sense until it makes sense. We didn't understand. What are we doing? Why are these people so bothered? Oh, because one minute we at the gym, the next minute we walking for 45 minutes, the next minute we creating this and we built this and we're starting this and we're doing this, and people sitting over here saying like, oh, y'all think y'all. No, we just trying to create things in our reality to have the life that we want. We're not considering not one other person, because what we're doing and what we're choosing is not affecting nobody else but the three of us in this house. I don't need to tell nobody else what's going on. Don't nobody else need to know my business. Don't nobody else need to be in the thinking process of what we're building and what we got going on. And anybody who says that they should is crossing a boundary. Because we can lay it out real simple and clear. If I'm not sleeping with you, if you ain't paying my bills and any of that, then no. Then I don't want to hear it. And the only way you would be doing any of that is to be married and be my wife. And if your name is not Kayla Leday-Poole, then it doesn't matter. Yes. And if you're not with someone, then you have to be that way with yourself. Because what matters is what you're building and what you're growing. And like I said, the only thing that matter up in here is the three of us. How my wife feels, but most importantly, how Kaylee feels. Does Kaylee get a say-so in everything? No. Because sometimes life just be lifing, and we got to make choices in order to think in a long-term sense. But it's always going to be rooted in doing what is best for our family. Right? And we don't need nobody to understand that. I don't need nobody to understand that. I don't need you to know what's going on. I don't need you to check in on me. Right? And I'm telling you this because you need to see that about yourself. People have been upset that you have not been needing them. That you've been finding a way, that you've been making a way, when they really doubted and underestimated that you even knew how to walk down the street by yourself. But that's always what it's going to be when people doubt and underestimate you. And again, that's not for you to sit up here and be explaining to nobody. If you thought I wasn't going nowhere in life, then the joke's on you. And it ain't just been a joke on you in the last 5 years. It's been a joke on you the whole 30 years that I've been alive, because I've been about it. I've been this. I've been Kayla that's been outspoken. I've been Kayla that's been the cheerleader doing backflips. I've been the dancer. I've been the spiritual one. Again, it takes on different levels, but it's still the same. And again, if people didn't see that value, that's not on you. That's on them. So, like I said, I'm done. Drops mic. That's it. We're going to wrap it up because that's it. That's nothing more to be said. All right. So, I love you guys. Thank you so much for vibing out with me, and I will talk to you guys in our next one. Bye.